Human beings are all different in many ways. We come from different cultures, eat different foods, wear different clothes. There's one thing that I've found makes us all the same. It's that little light that comes on your dash telling you it's time to change your oil. We all wait weeks. But that's not right, because we love our cars. They're our friends, and they're vessels for everlasting memories and the ticket to our freedom. That's why it's important that we keep on top of our fluids, change our tires when they need to be changed, and make sure our brakes are doing all right for our safety. Many of our travels are short-lived, short distances away, and we know that city driving lowers our average fuel efficiency. But according to the preventative maintenance article from the Auto Technical Library, city driving does much worse damage than just our average MPG. Driving short distances on a cold running car accumulates water in our oil that would normally be burned off in hot running highway driving. And when that water mixes with our oil, it creates a gunky, goopy, just bad for your car oil. Now, it's recommended that you change your oil and filter about every 3,000 miles to prevent this goopy buildup from really doing too much damage. This can be done at home, but it's a pretty messy job because you have to drain out the old oil, and it often requires specialty tools. However, some fluids can be changed easily at home. Consumer Research magazine suggests that do-it-yourself refills include power steering, transmission fluid, wipers, and coolant. But you should always look in your owner's manual to make sure you're using the right kind of fluids, because they're not universal across all brands. Now let's move on to tires, because in Saudi Arabia, they report more tire failures than almost any other country. That's why the Arabian Journal for Science and Engineering studied some of the least failed and most failed tires in Saudi Arabia to figure out if it's a quality issue. And they found that it's not. In fact, most catastrophic tire failure comes from underinflated tires. Consumer Reports recommends monthly tire checks to prevent catastrophic failures such as the ones reported in Saudi Arabia. Now, when you're checking your tires monthly, you should be checking the air pressure and the tire tread depth. Your pressure can be checked easily with a tire pressure gauge, which you can buy really cheap online, or you can go to almost any gas station and use theirs. Your manufacturer recommended tire pressure can be found inside your driver's side door, usually down towards the floor. And tread depth is probably more dangerous than air pressure, because if it's too low, then your tires can't properly displace water and you'll be slipping all over the place. It'd be like driving a drag car on the street. Your tread depth can be checked with, you've all probably heard of the penny trick before, and it's a reliable one. You take a US penny, flip it upside down and stick it in the tread of your tire, and if your tire goes past Lincoln's Head, you're all set. But if you can see the entirety of Lincoln's Head, it's time to get some new tires. Now, probably the most dangerous failures of all of these can be found in the brakes. And modern brakes are very complicated systems. According to Motorist Assurance Program, that's assurance, not insurance, an automotive braking system is a group of mechanical, electronic, and hydraulically activated components which use friction and heat to stop a moving vehicle. This sounds very complicated, but checking them at home isn't that complicated. All you have to do is listen and feel for them. Most of you have probably heard the squeaky brakes before. That's because your brake pads have a metal compound under the rubber, which tell you when they're too low, and you should get them changed. Also, if your brakes are feeling too squishy, or if you hit the brakes and your steering is all wobbly, your calipers could be warped, and you should get those checked. That's something you could do at home with some mechanical knowledge, but that also requires specialty tools, and I'd recommend you take it to a mechanic. So, to summarize all this, we love our cars, and we want to make them last as long as we possibly can. So to do so, we should be checking our fluids, our tires, and our brakes often. Thank you.
Very good.